What you will now do from today, number one, I will use your salary to replace this shirt. Number two, you will sweep this whole compound for 1 month.
This story is one of those intense, emotional, and surprisingly deep narratives that starts off looking like a simple domestic drama but quickly unfolds into something much more powerful. From the very first scenes, we are introduced to a chaotic and toxic relationship dynamic that sets the tone for everything that follows. The tension is immediate, the dialogue is raw, and the characters feel very real, almost uncomfortably real. At the center of the story is a man who is extremely strict, controlling, and obsessively stingy. This is not just a man who likes to save money. This is someone whose entire worldview revolves around control, measurement, and fear of waste. Every single thing in his house is calculated, from sugar cubes to water usage, from electricity to food portions. Nothing escapes his scrutiny. And while at first it may come off as comedic, it quickly becomes clear that this behavior is rooted in something deeper. The way he treats his workers is harsh, almost inhumane. He deducts salaries for the smallest mistakes, humiliates them over trivial issues, and constantly reminds them that everything they do has a cost. It creates an environment of fear rather than respect. You can see how suffocating it is for anyone living under his roof. Then we meet Teresa, a young woman who comes into his life under difficult circumstances. She's running away from an abusive relationship, desperate for safety and survival. Her vulnerability makes her situation relatable, and her decision to work for this man feels like trading one form of hardship for another. But unlike the others, Teresa is different. She observes, she adapts, and most importantly, she cares. One of the most interesting things about this story is how it balances humor with serious things. There are moments that will genuinely make you laugh, like the obsession over sugar cubes or the ridiculous rules about water and electricity. But underneath that humor is a strong commentary on control, trauma, and the consequences of extreme behavior. As the story progresses, we begin to see cracks in the man's rigid personality. His health starts to decline, and this is where the narrative takes a deeper turn. Despite all his rules about saving money, he refuses proper medical care because he sees it as unnecessary spending. This is ironic because the very thing he values most, money, is now becoming a threat to his life. Teresa, on the other hand, steps up in a way that is both brave and selfless. Even though she is constantly threatened with salary deductions and punishment, she chooses to go against his rules for his own good. She cooks proper meals with enough nutrients, forces him to rest, and even locks him inside to prevent him from going back to work while sick. This shift in power dynamic is subtle but very important. What makes Teresa stand out is her courage. She's not just surviving anymore. She's taking control in her own way. She begins to challenge the system that has oppressed everyone in that house. And even though she risks losing her job, she prioritizes doing what is right. Another major turning point in the story is the revelation of betrayal from someone close to the man. His own gatekeeper, someone he trusted for years, is secretly plotting against him. This moment adds a layer of suspense and highlights the consequences of how he has treated people over time. When you build relationships based on fear and control, loyalty becomes fragile. Teresa once again proves her integrity by exposing the plot and saving his life. This act completely changes how the man sees her. For the first time, he begins to reflect on his actions. He realizes that despite his harsh treatment, she chose to protect him when she had nothing to gain. This is where the emotional core of the story truly shines. the man starts to open up about his past, revealing that his extreme behavior is rooted in childhood experiences. He grew up in a situation where financial instability caused pain and suffering, and over time, he became obsessed with never returning to that state. His stinginess is not just about money, it's about fear, survival, and control. Understanding this backstory doesn't excuse his behavior, but it helps explain it, and that's what makes the story powerful. It doesn't present characters as simply good or bad. Instead, it shows how life experiences shape people in complicated ways. By the end of the story, we see growth. The man begins to loosen his rules, allowing more freedom in the house. He acknowledges Teresa's efforts and even shows appreciation, something that would have been impossible at the beginning. It's a slow transformation, but it feels earned. Teresa, on her part, also finds strength and independence. She is no longer the helpless girl running from abuse. She has become someone who can stand her ground, make decisions, and influence change. Her journey is inspiring because it shows that even in difficult situations, one person's courage can make a difference. Overall, this story delivers a strong message about balance between discipline and compassion, saving and living, control and trust. It reminds us that while structure is important, humanity should never be sacrificed in the process. The storytelling is engaging, the characters are memorable, and the themes are relatable. It's the kind of story that makes you reflect on your own behavior and relationships. Are we too controlling? Are we too afraid to let go? Are we valuing the wrong things? This is more than just a drama. It's a lesson wrapped in entertainment. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this review all the way to the end. I truly appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed this story and want to experience the full drama, emotions, and powerful moments, make sure you head over to Uchenna Mbunabo TV right now to watch the complete movie. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing movie reviews. See you in the next one.